Hey there everyone, it's it's Skip Create, and I'm going to be looking over the proposed balance changes. Now, I looked at them a little bit earlier today and everything. I'm making this about midnight right now. I got off work not too long ago. But when I originally saw them, I was, some stuff was okay and some stuff I was very much not happy with. But I'm gonna go look through it again and give you my thoughts. First off, okay, the multi-class panic attack. And so they're going to make the panic attack switch 50% faster. That'll be interesting. Have more pellets but less damage. Yeah, that'll probably be like a kind of a force of nature kind of thing. Fixed shot pattern, which will be interesting. The ambassador will have bullets spread to make it harder to snipe. Neat. That sounds like a good idea. Dead ringer. You can't spam it anymore. I don't think anyone's gonna complain about that. So you can disguise, but it costs all your cloak. It increases your cloak train. Neat. Alright, and then there's for the scout, the Sandman. Okay, so there's more damage, but you're not like fully stunned, I guess. But more balls, that's neat. Applies slow effect to the player if the phasing wears off. That is a neat idea. That is actually kind of neat downside there. Increased health, faster firing speed, but less shots. That's actually Pretty Boy's pocket pistol is going to see a lot more use now. Criticola. Oh, that's neat. Not sure I like them removing the speed bonus. I think that's kind of that's really helpful to have, but I think overall new Criticola is nice. The atomizer triple jump. I know, I thought it was okay as a passive effect, you know, I mean. I guess I can kind of understand the ideology behind that, but it's only possible when the bat is deployed, but there's no damage taken and no penalty. But you can essentially market garden with it now, even though it comes out a little slower and does a little bit less damage, right? So the flying guillotine no longer crits. That's nice, but it does Long range hits reduce recharge. So there's no crits now, but it's long range to make it more spammable? I don't know. That just seems weird. I've never seen anyone complain about the base jumper being frustrating to fight against. I've never ever seen that. I've never had trouble taking down a base jumper. I have no clue who the hell is saying it is frustrating to fight against because it is simply too hard to hit. And I don't know, maybe I've never come up against a, I don't know, good base jumper user, but I often hear that you shouldn't use the base jumper because it makes you so predictable, and because air strafing and everything is simply just so much better tactic to get farther, to move faster, that it's just a much better tactic. This seems very strange that people are complaining about the base jumper. I've never heard of this. Man-treads, they're trying to make them more usable, but it seems... Okay, so they add more air control, so you're probably going to see man-treads used to counteract the base jumper debuff. And kind of the push force reduction, that's going to be nice to see them be able to resist air blast. It's going to give the soldier a little bit more of an advantage in the Soldier v Pyro game, so I guess it's neat. Darwin's Danger Shield, so they got rid of the bullet vulnerability in exchange for resisting afterburn immunity and 50% fire resist. I guess it makes sense, but I don't like the fact that it's that puts it back to a, like, it's meant for one thing. It's a kind of like the Razorback, which they made it regenerate. That's neat, but you can't get overhealed. That's weird. But this primarily happens in organized competitive play. I feel like a lot of this is balanced for competitive, which I personally don't agree with. I'm not a comp player. I play a fuck ton of casual. I don't have time to get into comp. I just want to play and I want to have a fun match. I don't want to get too serious. That's just me, but I can see the benefit of balancing for comp, but as long as you don't forget that casual exists. Vita Saw, Overcharging Death's too valuable an effect to be passive. I guess I might add in organs collecting concept, and the Vita Saw harvests the victim's organs shown on the HUD. On death, preserve 15% overcharge per organ harvested. The effect caps at 60. Okay, so overcharge and death is too valuable. So now, okay, so you use the Uber Saw, you get 4 swings, you have an Uber charge in your life. This one, instead of dying and being able to keep up to 20% Uber charge, it is you get 4 swings with this thing and you are guaranteed that you are going to have 60% Uber charge upon respawn. This is an interesting concept, but the reasoning behind it is weird. It's it's too valuable, you know. They don't like the idea of keeping overcharge on death. I mean, keeping it passive. I guess that makes sense, but so for landing 4 hits, you get to keep over half of an Uber charge. I don't know, that doesn't make sense to me. It's an interesting concept, but that doesn't make sense to me. Bolt healing is very high. It significantly out-heals the medigun when the target is in combat. This might be okay trade-off, but it's also the fastest way to build Uber charge. So they reduce the Uber charge to make it the same as the mediguns. I guess that's all right. I mean, thought it was a good thing to allow a medic to have a kind of skillful way to increase Uber, but I guess comp players and Valve disagree. I don't know. I always kind of think if there's a system that allows you to do something better, maybe avoid a downside or increase how you can do something, be more efficient, and it's a skillful way of doing something, then it's a good thing. Because the Crusader's crossbow is not just spam it out and get everything. I mean, maybe in a tight choke, yeah, but you really need to know what you're doing with the Crusader's crossbow in order to make it work. And the people who use it to build Uber very well, they earn being able to have Uber faster. At least in my eyes, I can get why they make it the same as the medigun to keep, I guess, make it more consistent, but I disagree with it at the same time, because again, it takes a lot of skill to handle the crossbow, and being able to gain Uber charge faster is an advanced technique that is a very, very attractive reason to learn and master the Crusader's crossbow, more than just for healing. That it provides you a tactical advantage of being able to gain Uber faster if you're good with it. So I don't know. I don't like them removing strategies that involve... I don't like them taking things that have... And I'm sorry I'm not being very articulate. I'm kind of doing this on the fly. But, I don't know. I'm noticing a few things from what I saw earlier, and you're really going to see it whenever I get into the heavy, which is next. I feel like they're taking a lot of strategy and a lot of really good techniques that people have come up with, and basically said, this isn't punishing enough. And deciding to scale things back that are actually really good, because is anyone, and sorry to bump my mic there, but is anyone complaining about the Crusader's crossbow gaining Uber charge too fast, or out-healing the medigun at range? Is anyone actually complaining about that? Is that actually a problem? I don't see how it's a problem. The Crusader's crossbow is a great weapon, and the ability to gain Uber charge faster through the skill that it takes to actually use the crossbow, that's a good thing. It's a good thing that people have skill-based ways to actually be more efficient at what they do. So why do you want to take that away? Why? This is going to make people want to use the crossbow less, even though, I mean, right now it is the dominant strategy, I want to see something, instead of you trying to take away something that is already good, I want to see Valve taking the other weapons, the Overdose, the Blutsauger. I want to see them try to make those more viable and helpful, rather than trying to reduce the use of the crossbow. That seems incredibly counterintuitive to me. here's the part I'm pretty sure y'all clicked on for, the heavy. So for all miniguns, the 1 second damage and accuracy penalty now applies to the first second of spin-up time, whether or not the heavy is firing, which is, I guess, kind of neat. Beforehand, like it says on here, the damage and accuracy penalty, it was only applied whenever you started firing. So for a second when you started firing, you'd be less accurate and less damage, and it'd ramp up. But so essentially now it's based on spin, which means the Brass Beast and the Natasha will have full damage ramp once they're spun up just every time. Whereas whenever you spin up, you're going to have about a little less than half a second with like the Tommy Slav or the stock, where you're not going to be doing full damage. I don't think this is going to be something that's too noticeable, except for heavies that have a tendency to pre-rev for, they are generally going to be revved for a couple seconds before the enemy comes, expecting in advance. But most heavies that I notice tend to jump rev, and basically as soon as that thing's revved up, it's firing. So I don't think there's going to be much of a difference that's going to be noticeable, at least in my eyes. The gloves of running urgently, okay, speed, lead, and the lack of it is used to balance the heavy's high health, overheal, and damage output. And while we still believe it's okay to have a class of items that increases the heavy's movement speeds, players have been able to easily mitigate the existing negatives. Yes, they have, through skill. Okay, the reason that the gloves of running urgently haven't been super punishing and are so good is because while you're marked for death for it, okay, people have learned to, okay, I'm marked for death, I'm not going to run into the middle of a combat zone while I still have this debuff. I'm going to drop it a couple seconds before I get into a fight. That way it's worn off, I've gotten to where I need to, and boom. And people that want to capitalize it are going to go and seek out the heavy while he's in transit and hit him while he's debuffed. It's playing smart. This is skillful use of a weapon. Why do you not want people to actually have the mastery of, I've learned how to capitalize on its positive effects and mitigate its negatives? That's what mastery is all about. Why do you want a weapon that is actively punishing? And, okay, max health is drained while item is active at 10 per second. Having this thing out to run is going... You pull this out and you're taking like double afterburn with this thing. Why would you want to use the gloves of running urgently looking at this? Why? They removed the mark for death penalty. I mean, yeah, because now instead of having a passive chance that you're going to take more damage, now you have a weapon that actively tries to kill you. I mean, Jesus Christ, this is... Imagine trying to escape with this thing. Imagine if they put this kind of effect onto the escape plan. You know? Because, I mean, essentially this is what's going to happen, is you're going to have a bunch of heavies who have used the gloves of running urgently, both to cross areas, but also as an escape plan. Whenever they get low in health, they're going to jump out and use the speed buff to get away from the fight, find a corner to be, and eat their sandwich. Everything's good. Now it's, okay, shit, I've got 50 health left. Okay, let me pull up my gloves of running urgently. Oh, I just fucking died. Because that thing's gonna fucking kill people. You have something that was pretty well balanced, and the only reason any negative has been easily mitigatable is because people got smart and knew how to use it. They thought, it takes about 2.5 seconds for it marked for death to wear off, so I need to time my travel time where I'm going to end it to 2.5 seconds or more before I get into a combat zone. Do you want something that is Valve, do you want something that is impossible for people to play smartly? Do you want people that in order for them to use something that isn't stock, they have to be actively and pretty harshly punished for trying to do and manage a playstyle that isn't directly what the heavy is supposed to do. And speaking of what the heavy is supposed to do, I'm not really going to look at the eviction notice, because the eviction notice is basically, they do the same thing as the group. Because God forbid they let that weapon be its own thing. The Fists of Steel. I love the Fists of Steel. They are my favorite weapon in the game. You know why? Because they're the only thing that allows the heavy to actually be a fucking heavy. You know what I mean by that? Well, the heavy is supposed to be the tank class. Yes, he has 300 HP. That doesn't do jack shit when you have crits and fucking quick shot headshots and just the sheer amount of focus fire, demo man able to knock you out in 3 pills. Sorry, the heavy doesn't tank well. Valve, you made a tank class that can't tank. You know what fixes that? The Fists of Steel. They are freaking amazing. And, you know, okay, yeah, the increased melee damage doesn't ever really come into play when it counts. Because whenever you have like 50 people coming at you and everything, and you're in a choke point, you're not, yeah, why? Why would I be standing there with, you know, with my Fist of Steel? And why would an opponent rush into a choke point melee ready? The reason that doesn't happen is because that's stupid. That has nothing to do with the Fist of Steel. That has to do with, that's just not how things work. But increased melee damage does actually come into play quite a bit. People have become very aware of the melee vulnerability. And it's actually part of, it's kind of a double mind game with the Fists of Steel, because if you're smart heavy with the Fists of Steel, you'll notice that you can trick a lot of people into switching to melee, you switch to minigun, and mow them down before they have the chance to switch back. Or a smart opponent knows to switch to melee, and then immediately switch back while you're still switching up and trying to spin up, and thus fuck you over with their weapons. It's part of the mind game, and I've had plenty of people that were able to notice in time, you know, oh, he's got the Fist of Steel, bam, melee, dead, got me. It's, what do you mean? It doesn't really come into play. I can't speak for comp, which is, again, this is probably what this is being based off of. It's entirely comp, the ideas of comp players, which, okay, I respect the guys, they're good at what they do, but comp is not all there is to TF2, okay? And comp is not the full range of experiences, because when it comes down to it, comp is down to 2 soldiers, a demo man, a scout, and a medic. 4 of 9 classes, okay? With everything else being an extremely situational pick that's not going to come out all the time. You're balancing the game around 4 classes. 4. That's not going to be conducive to the entire game. And the fact that I love the Fists of Steel the way they are, because the one thing that allows me to do the heavy's job as I'm supposed to. And yeah, they say, okay, you have an unreasonably large pool of effective health. No, I fucking don't. Is it unreasonable to have a weapon that allows me to do what I'm supposed to do and be a damage sponge for my team? To be the tank that Valve tried to design and failed miserably at, okay? The heavy is not a good tank on his own. The Fists of Steel are necessary to play an actual defensive heavy. Unless you have a medic shoved in your ass constantly, which I hate the fact that you make this class, this one class, be so incredibly dependent on other classes. And you aren't the only place a heavy actually gets support in which the Fist of Steel might be unreasonable to sometimes. Comp is the only situation in which a heavy is going to have so much consistent medic support that a Fist of Steel might be an overkill. But in casual, which is, you know, something I stick mostly to, this thing is a godsend, okay? This thing has saved my ass so many times. This and the Delocus Spark, they're channeled together. It's like my own quick fix. It's like my own ability to be a wall for my team. I've held so many King of the Hill points just holding myself together with the Fists of Steel and the Delocus Bar, and just absorbing so much fire from my team. I buff myself up real quick, or maybe get some help from a medic, and I see a sticky nest. I pull out the Fist of Steel. I tank the sticky nest. I see a sentry, and you know my team's coming to go in. Fist of Steel. I'm going to draw their fire. And I mean, it works really well with the combo. It does, but why is that a bad thing? Why do you want to take away by... Why do you want to make the heavy incapable of doing his job? It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. The heavy is not able to tank, and so the one weapon that is actually good at doing it, you want to make it to where he can't actually get any help from a medic. And the only thing I've seen that would be good from what the Gloves of Running Urgently does, which is actively kill you, and this thing with the Fist of Steel, the new Fist of Steel, which make healing you damn near impossible, making a medic just unable to support you, is using these to increase Uber rate, because you heal slower, because either you're constantly taking damage or you just heal slowly. And what's this do? It makes the heavy more dependent on a medic. More dependent. And that is not... I'm a heavy man. I've put quite a bit of time into this. I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of other heavy mains that would agree. The heavy is great with a medic, okay? The combo is amazing, okay? And I'm glad that y'all are trying to do something to make it better and allow a little bit more synergy by adding something. But if this was like a separate thing for, you know, combos, separate items, I mean, I suppose I'd be more okay with it. But it's the fact that you're taking the two biggest weapons. I'm not really talking about the Eviction Notice, because it's just a mini Gru. But the Fists of Steel, which allow the heavy to actually do the job that he was originally intended to do and be the damage sponge of the team, or the Gloves Running Urgently, which is the only thing that allows the heavy to actually keep up with the fight, because guess what? Generally, there's not going to be tellies up, because everyone knows where the hell the tellies are going to go, and they're blown up by the time they're set up. Either that, or the engineer does not give a damn about setting up a telly, and there's going to only be a sentry, and maybe a dispenser. So, guess what? You have to rely on hoping to God that maybe that soldier is going to use his conch or switch to the disciplinary action to maybe help you, or you're going to have to use the Gloves of Running Urgently or the Eviction Notice to make up for your slow speed in exchange for a damage vulnerability, which is there, but through skill and knowledge and timing can be mitigated. So this is really... I don't like this. I don't like these balances. I honestly think that the Gloves Running Urgently and the Fists of Steel are great as they are. Making the Gloves Running Urgently actively try to kill you is a terrible, terrible idea. Specifically because the Gloves Running Urgently aren't just a distance crossing tool, they're an escape tool. Okay, they're whenever you're starting to get a little low on health, you need to get out, get a sandwich and help yourself, recover. Because the heavy needs this is the only thing that gives the heavy a viable retreat option. And now you're going to make it something where it's going to kill you if you try to use it as a retreat. Because unless you have over half your health and you're not running for more than... if you have to run for more than 5 seconds and you're at low health, generally you're going to die from using this thing. And that's stupid. Okay, and the health will generate only the amount drained while active, minus any damage taken that time. Okay. It's... Why do you... Like, on everything else, you made useless items good. You made badly designed items like the Dead Ringer, and you made them more fair. These things... Who in the hell is complaining about the gloves of running urgently? Who is saying that it's too easy to mitigate? Okay? That thing is easy as hell to punish if you catch a heavy trying to cross a distance or trying to escape. Okay? The mini crits, that is easy as hell to punish. Okay? And the fact, yeah. Is it easily mitigated? Yes, it is easily mitigated by a smart person knowing, hey, I don't want you to run into 50 people while I take mini crits. I'm going to stop, slow down a bit, and take a little bit longer in order to wait for the debuff to wear off so I'm not going to instantly fucking die. That's not like cheating the system or anything. That's playing smart. That's knowing how to use the benefits and how to mitigate the downsides. That's mastery. That's how things should be used. That's skill. Anyway, I just... Oh yeah, and then finally the Rescue Ranger, and this one also seems stupid to me, where the range repairs now cost metal. Great. Now I have to worry about metal again using the Rescue Ranger. Because, you know, it's not like I'm literally giving up a weapon in exchange for a completely supportive option that was supposed to help make engineering easier by the fact that I can have a little bit more range to gather metal, and I don't have to worry about my metal whenever I'm trying to heal because I can simply just take a couple shots to help out, you know? That just seems so stupid to me. Why? Who is complaining about the Rescue Ranger being too powerful as a support item? That's my question. Please, someone explain. Because I imagine this is mostly the competitive community. So please, someone from the competitive community, tell me, who the hell is complaining about the Crusader's crossbow? Who's complaining about the gloves of running urgently and the fists of steel being too powerful? Who is complaining about the goddamn Rescue Ranger? A lot of this stuff is good as it is. A lot of this stuff is the stuff that really enables you to really do what you need to be doing, like the Fists of Steel. And I know I'm biased because I'm a heavy main and I love the Fists of Steel, but it's like the only weapon that allows you to actually like be a tank, especially on your own. And you want to take that away by making me unable to receive any actual freaking support while using it. And making the gloves running urgently actively freaking kill you. That way, oh yeah, your health is gonna regenerate, you know, while yeah, okay, I'm sorry, but I'm still not excited about taking, you know, let's say 15 seconds to run across from first spawn to upward to the first capture point to end up with half health, and oh yeah, that's gonna regenerate back. Yeah, that doesn't do me any good. Whenever I show up on the first point, everyone's pushing the cart, there's 4 demo men, and next thing you know, I take, you know, 2 pills. I take 2 pills that, you know, go off near me. Okay, I have 150 health. I have no fucking chance of surviving. You go in with a disadvantage, and there's nothing you can do except, oh wait, you can do the exact same thing you did with the older gloves of running urgently and sit around and wait for your health to go back up. Great, you changed nothing except made it literally fucking impossible to use the gloves of running urgently to escape. You made the gloves of running urgently work pretty much the exact same way, but worse. Like, I appreciate that you guys are trying, but are you actually, like, considering... Like, did you ask a heavy main? Did you ask someone who actually plays heavy about this? Because there's no way anyone who actually plays heavy would think that this is all great ideas. I mean, the minigun stuff. Okay, the ramp up. That's great. That's great. That's helpful. It's not going to be all that noticeable, but it's helpful. All this stuff is a complete and utter shit. You just ruined a shit ton of weapons that are exceptionally useful. You took everything useful the heavy has, because these 3 melees are the most useful fucking things a heavy has right now, and I don't know what the fuck you're trying to do with them, because the Fist of Steel, okay, the one thing I'm supposed to tank, and it completely fucks over my ability to get any support. It completely... Okay, less overheal. I can't tank as much. Less healing rate. I can't... Why the hell do you have a tank class if you're not going to enable him to tank? I mean, I've wondered why Valve makes a weapon like, I have to use this weapon in order to actually do the job of the class that I picked, who is supposed to have that job. But now you're completely taking the ability to do that away, and then you take this and you the freaking gloves of running urgently, and the alternate playstyle, the giving up your tankiness in order to be faster. Oh, I can't do that either. So what the fuck am I supposed to do with a heavy? What the hell do you want me to do with a heavy? I mean, I can see what the hell you want me to do with a heavy. It's sit behind a medic and expect that I'm always going to have a pocket medic, because somehow you think that every medic is just going to, you know, pocket the heavy. Yeah, I'm sorry, but that only happens if I spend a shit ton of money on an unusual to walk into a match and then, I don't know, like fucking bribe people to sit there and pocket me. Okay? I hold up. Like, this right here? It's right here? This is what I have to do to actually get medic support. Okay, and I know Valve doesn't give a shit, because this means I spend money on the game in order to actually get somewhere. I know you don't give a shit. You don't give a shit about your games. You care about the fucking money. Probably why you care about comps so much is because you're probably gonna organize shit that makes money. Ah, fuck the casual. Fuck fuck anyone else that actually tries to enjoy the game. And I don't know. I know I'm talking mad here. I know I'm talking salty, but seriously, what the fuck? I don't understand this at all. I don't. And it's actually kind of infuriating to me. And I know, you know, some people are gonna say, you know, okay, well, what would you have, you know, what would you have done instead? I don't think these need fixing. The GRU is fine as it is. The eviction notice is fine. It could probably use, I don't know, maybe the eviction notice could use something to make it a little less GRU, but I don't know. The Fist of Steel, it's fine as it is. I don't know, make it swing slower if you're so fucking worried about it. Don't make it, like, impossible to have a medic. Don't make the gloves of running urgently literally actively kill you for trying to use them. I mean, geez, thanks for fixing the dead ringer. I don't have to worry about that shit now. But now I have to worry about the fact that the class I want to play is now going to actively work against me, because everything I want to use is now this convoluted mess of you can use it, but it's going to work against you, actually. Of now we have downsides that completely make this completely not worth playing, and thus removing the actual viability of any of these strategies and classes. I mean, it's gonna be the end of my rant. I doubt there was anything to be enjoyed about any of this, but figured I should make a video on this, state my opinions. I'm not happy about this. I wish I could make a video and be a lot more positive about this, but I'm not happy about this. This just feels so wrong. It feels... I mean... And I hope some of y'all can actually understand it. Certainly hope that my fellow heavy mains, you know, see this from the same perspective that I do. It's just... What the hell are you doing, Valve? Why are you trying to punish people for actually knowing how to do things? Why are you trying to punish people for knowing how to handle things? Why are you trying to punish people for trying different strategies, or maybe actually be able to do the thing the class was supposed to fucking do? What the hell do you want me to do with a heavy? And why the hell am I playing this game that's supposed to be about customization and doing things, having all these different playstyles, if you're going to take away my ability to do them? I was really excited for the Pyro update and the rebalances and everything. I knew not everything was going to be perfect, and I really hope that a lot of this stuff gets some serious reconsideration. And I hope this video brings up some good discussion and whatnot. But as this stands, if this is what gets implemented in the game, I don't know. It's like everything I've tried to work towards in my heavy mating, everything I've tried to learn and everything, you know, everything I've tried to do, that's going to be for nothing. Because now I have a heavy class that is impossible to use, because everything is meant to punish me for trying to play the heavy class. Like, I don't know, I'm very disappointed, I'm very confused, and I'm very upset. And I guess that's all I have to say.